In the bustling streets, a man curiously inquired.
Auntie, what are they distributing?
It's steamed buns.
So early for bread distribution?
Each of us gets two. We pick a number now, but the distribution starts at 10.
An overwhelming number of elders are willing to wait for hours just for 2 buns. Is this not an exorbitant price for their time? Couldn't they engage in something more fruitful? Perhaps this reflects the unfortunate outcome of an education system in China, which conditions many to be submissive, desensitized, and devoid of critical thinking. She is a young female college graduate. Last year, her attempts to pursue postgraduate studies fell through. This year, she's gearing up for the civil service exam, hoping to find a new beginning. However, her mother is less than optimistic. She scolds.
3 years post-graduation, and what do you have to show for it? You've been home for 3 months now. What have you achieved?
Life is challenging enough as it is, but her mother's unsparing words devoid of empathy stab deeply into the young woman's heart. It's hard not to see the mother's criticisms as particularly harsh.
On September 14th, a heart-wrenching tale emerged from Sichuan. A young 20-year-old supermarket worker accidentally bumped into an elderly man. They settled on a compensation of 100 yuan, but the old man's children demanded 5,000 yuan. The boy, the sole breadwinner, already bore the weight of familial responsibilities. Faced with this insurmountable financial challenge and let go from his job to avoid further complications, the boy made a tragic decision.
The electronic fireworks at the Asian Games shone bright. While they may be dazzling, do they truly represent strength and prosperity? Underneath this facade lies a society where compassion and empathy are dwindling. Such an environment suffocates not just adults, but the dreams and hopes of children as well. In the heart of a bustling city morning, a little girl stood beside her school bus, her big glistening eyes filled with dread.
Take me home, Mommy. I don't want to go to school.
Tears brimming in her eyes, the mother pleaded,
Millie, it's been 3 weeks. Why can't you just be like other children and go to school without fear?
For the young one, the oppressive environment of school was too much to bear. In the frosty Heilongjiang province, a concerned mother decided to shed light on a pressing issue. She asked in a video,
Have you seen the way English is taught in our schools today? It no longer starts with the alphabet. It jumps straight to sentences and vocabulary. Have you ever witnessed the heavy bags our children lug to school? I help my son every morning, and I swear it feels like they weigh 22 pounds. How can they grow healthily under such burdens? And the food at school? My son often feels nauseous after meals. Why serve such food?
In a recent move, China has released guidelines mandating lipid panel tests as a routine check for middle and primary school students. Aren't schools meant for education and not for medical examinations? How does this relate to academics? Shouldn't the health of children be the responsibility of individual families?
Now, as soon as a child enrolls in school, there's a comprehensive survey about the family. They're asked about the child's blood type, compelled to buy school meals, and parents are inquired about their marital status, residence, and monthly incomes. It begs the question, who set these rules, and what's their end game? It's bewildering.
A famous blogger, Zhao Lanjian, wrote, quote, From what I gather, most school principals in China are worth millions, yet the food provided to students is subpar. Drawing a comparison, he recounted, quote, I've seen pet food in US Costco stores with better nutritional content than some of the food we consume here in China. I can't fathom how some meals in China might be inferior even to what pets in America consume. Zhao continued, quote, In the US, even inmates and illegal immigrants receive food of a quality far superior to our standards. During the pandemic, the US provided free food to all its citizens, but here educators are depriving students, all in the name of personal extravagance and corruption. He hearkened back to American history, recalling the rations of slaves who, despite horrendous conditions, had a consistent meat supply. Comparatively, many in modern China can't claim such a luxury. Turning on his TV, he sees images of Chinese officials extravagantly flaunting their wealth. He concluded, quote, "This is our reality, where rulers no longer see their people as humans." Behind China's glamorous cities, 85% comprise ordinary citizens, struggling to make ends meet. Some can barely earn 3,000 yuan or $411 a month. Their lives starkly contrast the opulence of children in kindergartens like Le Qiao's. A notable comment from a vlogger was, quote, "In some counties, 2/3 of the population have never dined at KFC due to financial constraints. For many, KFC is a place reserved for dates." In an ordinary primary school in Fugo County, students sat upright in their classrooms eagerly awaiting lunch. As the bell tolled, a teacher entered carrying fresh milk. Anticipation shone on the faces of most students. However, 18 of them looked down, their complexions pale. Quote, "Those who didn't buy milk, come to the front." The 18 children approached the platform, some with bowed heads, some biting their lips, and others trying to hold back tears. As the other students began to enjoy their milk, these children could only watch enviously. But the punishment didn't end there. With chilling detachment, the teacher took out a smartphone to capture this moment of humiliation, exposing it to the entire school and even spreading it across social media. This incident wasn't confined to one school. It is a stark representation of the inhumanity prevalent in the teaching community, the educational system, and society at large. Such cruel behavior is incredibly rare on a global scale. Outside of school, the rigidity continues. Children are trained rigorously, like robots.
They're even encouraged to memorize pi up to 1,000 place names Lotus Pond.
The notion that this could, quote, strengthen the brain may seem laughable, yet in mainland China this is commonplace. There was a popular trend called, quote, quantum speed reading.
Wearing blindfolds and rapidly flipping through books, students are claimed to finish reading an entire book in just a minute and grasp multiple languages in only 5 days. This is the much-debated quantum speed reading method that's caused a stir online.
The training center's explanation for this method is utterly bewildering.
The underlying principle is to unlock a child's innate ability to resonate with the universe. Supposedly, if the child's brain is receptive enough during the book flipping, they will visualize the book's content. Last year, within 3 months, the price was $12,800.
It sounds like a plot straight out of a sci-fi movie, yet it's being taught as a tangible reality. Claims abound that within a mere 3 to 5 minutes, children can breeze through a 100,000-word book and accurately recount 80% of its content. Quantum speed reading isn't just a passing trend in one locale, it's spreading across the nation like wildfire, capturing the attention of major media outlets. Prominent journalist Bai Yansong once commented,
This week, the term quantum speed reading has surged in popularity. This novel technique claims one can skim through a 100,000-word book in just 1 to 5 minutes. Cities like Chengdu, Hangzhou, and Shaoxing have institutions offering related training, with fees ranging from 6,000 yuan for a half-year course to 260,000 yuan for a lifetime membership. If books could truly be comprehended this way, humanity would have advanced beyond our wildest imaginations. Parents who invest in such methods without thorough understanding might just be paying a tax on naivety.
This reflects the cognitive level in China under its current regime. The Chinese education system is stifling the next generation, with the broader system grooming them into docile workers. In a heartfelt video message, an educator reveals,
The youth in my classes seem to grow more subdued year after year. The youthful recklessness and fervor once prevalent among teenagers appear restrained. If not absent, few boys court girls. That unbridled zest for life, for all its rough edges, seems leashed. I'd rather my students were boisterous, challenging me, expressing flawed yet genuine opinions, rather than just passively taking notes. Increasingly, I see our education system as a prolonged inflammation, with potent medications given in elementary and high school, culminating in a passive, indifferent, unthinking mindset in college.
Much of this can be attributed to the commercialization of China's education system. Educational institutions act like greedy merchants, using children's futures as stakes in a gamble for maximum profit. These children bear the brunt, living daily lives marred by exhaustion and depression. From a tender age, many are accustomed to their parents' watchful eyes, as if prisoners under constant surveillance. A Weibo post revealing the hefty educational investments of a family went viral. The shocking breakdown showed nearly $1 million spent over 3 high school years. Despite these enormous expenditures, the students scored a disappointing 382 points. Education should spark intellectual curiosity, but this child's spirit has been crushed by the rote learning. The vibrancy has been extinguished. Entering the workforce now, they're likely to underperform if not face unemployment. Alarming revelation. Reports indicate over 2,000 elementary students in Haidian district have taken leaves of absence due to psychological distress. Shockingly, 1 in 5 top-tier university students requires parental supervision or are advised to take leaves or drop out due to anxiety and depression. A chilling anecdote surfaces from a parents' dinner gathering. A high school senior said angrily, quote, "Given power, I'd cut out your tongues." The irony, her greatest aspiration is to become a public servant. This is the first day of a new term. Kindergarten teachers ask students to report each other's recent behaviors. This early exposure to a culture of mutual accusations begs the question, will these children grow up trusting others? Will they believe in their own choices? Once the bridge of trust crumbles, where do human relations stand? There's a saying, quote, "There is no utmost evil, only escalating malevolence." Indeed, should historians study our epoch, they might question its very authenticity, deeming contemporary China's events nearly inconceivable. The Economic Reference, an arm of Xinhua News Agency, recently introduced a provocative notion. They propose that education, healthcare, and elderly care should replace investment, export, and consumption as the new driving forces of the economy. At first glance, this is unfathomable. Essentially, isn't this capitalizing on students, the sick, and the elderly? But there's a limit to the number of students, patients, and elderly people. Does this imply China intends to deliberately increase these numbers for profit? If doctors and hospitals, in pursuit of economic gains, were to escalate minor ailments into severe ones and major illnesses into terminal diseases, wouldn't that equate to a crime? Such twisted logic veers away from any semblance of a human society. China had already breached the bounds of human civility by abolishing the 4 welfare guarantees: housing, healthcare, elderly care, and education. It now seems that the nation's intellectual elite have cast aside any last remnants of restraint, pushing the country towards an abyss of amorality. Since its inception, the Chinese Communist Party has remained an aberration on the global stage. News and narratives from the nation often defy conventional understanding. The populace, conditioned to operate like machines, typically adheres to a binary thought process. Absent authoritative endorsement, many lose their individuality, succumbing to a pervasive numbness. The world's disdain for the Chinese people doesn't stem from their heritage, poverty, or wealth, but from a mindset sculpted by the Communist Party, one that constantly challenges the ethical boundaries of humanity. On a sunlit afternoon in the US, the air in a social welfare institution is delicately scented with the aroma of food. The preparation of the meal is both straightforward and meticulous, with an emphasis on hygiene and nutrition. Here, there's no exchange of money, only an equal interaction between giver and receiver. There's no disparity of wealth, no looks of sorrow or arrogance. Only genuine gratitude and a profound sense of respect and appreciation. Within the hall of this institution, refugees from Central and South America, children, the elderly, and the physically challenged sit in dignified silence. Their attire speaks of quiet elegance, their demeanor exuding dignity. This dining area boasts cleanliness and equipment that rivals a hospital's operating room. Every detail of the cutlery designed to serve the homeless subtly conveys care and compassion. These seemingly insignificant details starkly highlight the cultural chasm between two nations. If the CCP can replicate military technology, why not emulate, learn, and adopt this kind of human care? If China could establish institutions akin to the US's social welfare system, its societal pressures wouldn't be as they are today. The common folk wouldn't endure such hardships, nor be so desensitized.